What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So epic news did come out. I want to share that with you, what it means for Lucid short-term, long-term, as well. Go over some very important data points. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure you guys first hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently it is up 11.33%. I had a lot of good momentum today. So $6.28 being the high. And based on this, 56.28 million shares overall being traded within the first roughly about 2 hours of the trading day versus 44 is the average. So a immense amount of big money and eyes are on Lucid because of this news that did come out. So Aston Martin to use Lucid's EV technology in supply share deal. And in exchange of Lucid's technology, Aston Martin is going to provide Lucid with obviously a stake in their business as well as cash, which the total value among the two is 232 million. And I think in general, this news is very, very good for Lucid because it kind of does validate their technology, even though I know a lot of investors know that their technology or Lucid's technology is the best. It's just the stock price hasn't really resembled that, largely because of just lack of ramping up on production and not really meeting investors' expectations in that regard. But this deal right here might be Lucid's saving grace, because I did coincidentally do a video yesterday saying that based on the technicals, Lucid was poised to go down. But like I said, because of this news, and you never know, right? This might be the start of something very big, because even though this did come out on today, so June the 26th, technically it did come out earlier. So February the 10th. So this is where they laid the foundation and I guess the rumor of Aston Martin and Lucid. I did a video during the same time period and I mentioned that there might be surprisingly a third company that might be joining this mix fairly soon. So of course, and on a side note, especially it's kind of matching with Lucid venturing into China fairly soon and this other company that I did talk on. So highly recommend you guys taking a look at my video. I think it came out February the 12th, how there is a Chinese company that might be participating in this. Once again, this is just bigger picture PIF kind of stuff, because Aston Martin, the Chinese company, and also Lucid is all under the umbrella of the PIF. But outside of that though, at the time of doing this video, there isn't really any news, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. So it is just merely following this news. And like I said, I think this is a little bit more of a saving grace coming from investors. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of everything that you need to know, including and starting off with options. So I did do a video, like I said yesterday, on which this, and I guess in reality, every data point was very bearish, more specifically the options. But today, so far within the first 2 hours of the trading day, there is $3.9 million in calls being purchased versus 1.17 million in puts. So this is basically saying that they anticipate, so bigger money is anticipating Lucid to continue this rally upwards. But of course, options is just its own segment. It doesn't necessarily move the stock price. But if you do look at this, these are all the transactions that have occurred so far on the secondary market, and majority of which are buys. And you can tell that based on the bid and the ask. So a lot of big money is getting in. And coincidentally, you can kind of match that based on this anyways, so the volume. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as the next big support and resistance points that you need to watch for, looking right here, with it being at $6.10, it is still below this S3, at least in the short term. Looking, or at least in the longer term, looking at the 4-hour chart, with it being at $6.10, it is actually getting past this pivot. So this $5.84 level is the next big support, and coincidentally that is exactly what it did bounce off of this morning as far as a low. And as far as a high, it kind of is perfectly range bound between this P and the R1, as you can see. So $6.27, so it briefly did touch that, but still I do anticipate it to still trade within this range. So obviously now you guys know the next big support and resistance points. But based on, like I mentioned yesterday, stochastic is just very, very oversold. So if there was a good piece of news that was to come out, then technically you could have a very good rally, as I said yesterday. And I think in all of Lucid's history, this is probably the best news that has come out that is actually proven. I know there was that rumor about the PIF wanting to take Lucid private. Of course, that was out of left field, so completely random, similar to today's news, but this one is being a little bit more validated by Lucid. So Definitely, I think this is good justification for it to continue to trend up, similar to what the options activity is signaling. And because, like I said, looking at stochastic, it is still considered very oversold. There is a nice bullish sentiment starting to form, and a number of retail investors have been getting in today. So a lot of people are liking this news. So let me know you guys' thoughts. Do you think that this is substantial news? Do you think that this is going to cause Lucid to maybe get to all-time highs, or at least in the double digits once again? Or do you think this is just going to fall into and get brushed under the rug? What is your interpretation of this? Like I said, even though production wise it's not necessarily been the best, but I think this is a little bit more of a accomplishment for its technology. And this has also been one of those things that Lucid investors have known this for a while, that Lucid's EV technology is next level. That's usually what Peter does start with every single earnings, his whole spiel on how Lucid is many, many years ahead of the next big competitor, which of course he kind of alludes to Tesla. But unfortunately, like I mentioned, it's just a lot of external things management wise and just on the broader economic scale is just not really been working in Lucid's favor, but their technology is very good. And you never know, right? They could potentially license this out and get a little bit more additional revenue coming in, because clearly 232 million is fairly good. In exchange as well, they did get some stock. So I think this is a very, very good thing for Lucid and investors. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of this in the comments below. I'll give you guys one final update, and that is with shorts. So the dreaded shorts. A lot of people I see on Twitter and so forth are talking on how there's going to be a epic short squeeze. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of that. So short score is currently 78, utilization is 88.29%. And as far as what they're doing today, shorts are increasing surprisingly, 2.16 million shares. 17.36% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 141.95 million shares overall being shorted. So kind of interesting to see that shorts are increasing their position despite this news. They are very hesitant about that. And this is why I bring up a lot of this info, because then you guys can interpret that how you see fit. Because this data right here with shorts is kind of telling a different story versus the options activity, and also versus, for instance, big money buying. So you kind of have conflicting points going on there. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to take advantage of free promos, and that is with Moomoo. Couple of days left, only up until June the 30th. Sign up for a free account, you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, and as you can see, throw $100 at the account, you'll get 5 free stocks plus a $100 cash reward. So this legitimately is one of the best deals that you can get. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all that in the comments below, and with that said, let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.